Hello everybody and welcome to the ultimate class setup guide for Titanfall. Whether you are a rusher, whether you're a sniper, whether you like to play pilot hunter, or whether you like to play hardpoint, I got you covered with classes that are going to make you able to dominate your opponents, whatever your playstyle and whatever game type you like to play. So to start off our class setup guide, we are starting with a class for all of you Hardpoint players. Hardpoint is definitely my favorite game type, so that's why we're starting with Hardpoint. So the gun that you use for this class can be any gun whatsoever, whether it's a shotgun, sniper rifle, it really doesn't matter. The most important thing here is the active radar pulse. Now the reason why this is so important is because it is the most useful pilot ability in Titanfall for playing Hardpoint. I'll give you guys an example situation. So you go to B, Hardpoint B, and you're capturing it. All of a sudden you see that it says it's contested and you have absolutely no idea where the enemy is at. You throw on your active radar pulse and you can see where he is, enabling you to win the gunfight and take the capture point. It's so amazing for Hardpoint. I can't stress how amazing it is. I now refuse to play Hardpoint unless I'm using active radar pulse. I use it on every single class when it comes to Hardpoint, whether I'm using the carbine, whether I'm using the car SMG, whether I'm sniping. I make sure to take active radar pulse. Now I have satchel charges just because I personally prefer them the most, but I honestly do think that they are the most useful when it comes to Hardpoint, especially with the active radar pulse, because if you're on an upper level or a lower level and you put on your active radar pulse and see that they are above or below you, you can just throw a satchel charge at them and you can kill them. Like, it's so easy to kill them like that. So satchel charge along with the active radar pulse goes really well together. Now when it comes to the tier 1 kit and the tier 2 kit, you can honestly use whatever you want to use. I personally like to use the quick reload kit when it comes to Hardpoint, just because obviously you're going to be coming into a lot more contact with people a lot more frequently because they're going to be rushing the hardpoints. So you want to be able to reload as quickly as possible so you can win as many gunfights as you possibly can. But the most important ingredient is the active radar pulse. Use that in domination and you will never lose. You will hardly ever lose. Like, you have to have a pretty bad team to lose when you're using active radar pulse, because it makes it extremely easy for you to carry it by yourself. So next I have a class for all of you rushers out there. I'm a rusher. I always have been in any FPS game that I play, and Titanfall is no exception. So you can use this in any game type. It really doesn't matter. This is just if you have a more up in your face kind of playstyle when it comes to playing Titanfall. So the gun of choice is the car SMG. Not only do I feel like it's superior over the R97, but also because of the attachment that it has. It has an attachment called counterweight. Now what counterweight does is it increases your hip fire accuracy. Now why is this so great, you ask? Well, I'm gonna tell you, because there is a tier 1 kit called Run and Gun. What Run and Gun does is allows you to shoot from the hip while running. Are you guys seeing where I'm getting at here? You know what I'm getting at, right? You are able to run while shooting from the hip. Counterweight makes you shoot from the hip more accurately. It's like a match made in heaven. It is the perfect class for the car SMG. You're able to just run around and shoot people from the hip with your increased accuracy. Now to make this even cheesier, because it is pretty cheesy, I will admit it's pretty cheesy, make sure that you use stim, because stim makes you run faster. So what you will end up doing is running so fast and shooting people from the hip that they don't have a chance to hit you. They're trying to aim with their hip, they're trying to aim down sights and hit you, and they can't because you're running so fast, all while shooting them and murdering their faces. So I really like this class for the car. The equipment that you use doesn't really matter. The tier 2 kit doesn't really matter either. Just make sure that you're using the counterweight attachment and you're using Run and Gun and you're using stim. It's the best class setup for anyone that likes to rush. Just trust me, you'll use it and you'll love it. If you haven't used it already, you will use it and you will fall in love with it. I promise. And the last class setup that I have to show you guys is for a sniper sniper class. So I personally prefer the DMR over the Kraber just because I think it enables you to have more freedom in the way that you play. You can rush, you can be passive, and you can still be really productive for your team regardless of which playstyle you are doing. So I like to take the AOG sight and the stabilizer. The reason why I use the AOG is because, again, it enables me to be more productive. I can win more gunfights. If it's a one-on-one close range encounter, I can win those gunfights. If it's a long range encounter, I can win those too. So I really like the AOG. It enables me to run around and kill people. It enables me to post up and kill people. It just gives me a variety in playstyles when it comes to sniping. Now, the reason why I use stim and not cloak, I imagine that a lot of people think cloak is good for snipers, but the reason that I use stim is because if I am posted up somewhere and I'm sniping and I'm looking for someone to snipe, if someone starts shooting me and I get caught out in this position where I'm trying to find someone to kill, I just pop on stim and I can run away and I can survive. If I'm using cloak, yes, I can be standing there cloaked looking for someone to kill, but you can still kind of see cloaked people, and if they do see you, you're pretty much dead. So I prefer to use stim because it enables me to get out of situations that are not preferable for me, which I feel is even more important when you're using a sniper rifle than when you're using a regular gun. So that is why I'm using stim. The reason that I'm using satchel charges is, well, it's my preferred equipment, but the reason why I'm using it on a sniper is because if you do get into a close range engagement that you don't personally think is favorable for you, you don't think you're going to be able to win it, you can use the satchel charge to get the kill for you, which is obviously very good if you're a sniper because you're not supposed to be close quarter damage, even though you can be if you use the AOG. So that is my preferred class for the sniper. Tier 1 kit and Tier 2 kit, again, doesn't matter. The Titan weapon doesn't matter. The most important thing are the AOG sight and the stabilizer attachments for the weapon, and also the stim and satchel charge. So I hope you guys did enjoy this complete setup guide video. I do have class setups with other guns, but they're just variations of these classes. Like if I'm using the Hemlock, for example, on Domination, I use Active Radar Pulse. If I'm using the R97, I still use the Run and Gun kit. I just don't use counterweight because it doesn't have a counterweight attachment. And if I'm using the Kraber, I use the same class setup as I do for the other sniper rifles. So I hope you did find it useful. Try them out if you haven't tried them out already, and let me know how you do with them, and I will speak to you wonderful people later. Bye.